Hello out there, middle-aged gamers. It is me, Adam, and today is our 1 year anniversary. We have a little special treat for you guys. Unfortunately, Krian could not be here today, but we've come up with a little solution to that. So we'll see how it goes. So my first game, the game that I played this year that I really enjoyed was Windbound. I've talked about it several times. I've reviewed it once or twice. But I don't know. This game just really kind of clicked with me, and I really enjoyed it. It was made by, let me get it up here. It was made by Five Live Studio and published by Deep Silver. It came out on August 28th last year. So it came out like just before we started podcasting. But it sat in my backlog for a little while, and then when I finally got to it, I really loved it. It was one of those games that I had a really hard time kind of putting down. But I had finished it. As much fun as it was, it definitely had some issues, mostly with glitches related to trophies. For example, there's a trophy for only using melee combat, and there's a trophy for only using ranged combat. But the thing is if you want to go for that trophy, you know, when you beat the game, you can get a new game plus. But if you want to get that trophy, you can't start on a new game plus. You have to start on a fresh game. And so I did that. But then the thing is you can't just start on a fresh game. There's some kind of glitch in it where you have to erase all your saves so that you don't have any saves in which you've used ranged combat, or you don't have any saves in which you've used melee combat. So just doing that and having to play through the game again was kind of tough. And also the thing was they added they call them DLC, but they're actually patches because they weren't optional and they were all free. And so the first two were fine. The first one was, if I remember correctly, the first one was Halloween themed, or maybe the second one was Halloween themed, but one of them was Halloween themed where you can get some kind of witchy gear. You know, you can get like a magic broomstick as a spear, and you can get a witch hat that I think makes potions last longer or something like that. And you can get kind of a witch's robe, which on death you resurrect one time. So you can get those sort of things. And then on the other DLC, they added some kind of stealth type gear. So it made you could, when you were in stealth mode, you could actually go invisible to hide from monsters. They added the glider. Then they added some new puzzles to the game that incorporated some of these elements, you know, because it used to just be you find a tower, you activate it, you're done. And so here they added kind of new puzzles like, oh, this tower has a gong and you have to, shoot the gong with an arrow, or this one, you have to glide across, or this one, the gong is missing. You have to, you get a map and you have to, find the X and dig it up. And so those two I felt really added to the game in a very positive and good way. The third DLC, though, added basically ghosts to the game, and because some of the trophies, like for instance the only using melee combat or only using ranged combat, you can get through most of the game without having to do a lot of combat. And originally you could, unless you needed a resource, you could basically avoid it. And once you did that, it was kind of like, or for instance, going through the game and you're only using your basic tools. So you're only using a stick and your knife, and that's it. And that's pretty doable if all you need to do is kill pigs. But then when these ghost guys come out, there are special weapons that do special damage against them. And regular weapons don't do that much damage against them. And because of that, it made it, kind of difficult to get some of these trophies. And so it wasn't that it was overly hard, but it slowed you down significantly. So I feel like I really wish they would update a new patch that would make the third patch, you could turn them on or off. I want this one or I don't want that one. If they did that, it would be great. Some of the physics were kind of weird, where you're getting a big boat and you're sailing super fast, and then the front digs into the water and then just the whole thing flips over 3 times. And um, but overall, I love this game. It was a lot of fun. I would love to see another game made in much the same way. I'd love to see some quality of life improvements, like for example, if you run out of sticks, sometimes you run out of sticks, but you have lots of lumber. I would love to see you be able to say strip lumber into bundles of sticks, or be able to use silk rope in instead of grass rope, because sometimes I don't have grass rope and I do have silk. So things like that I think could really improve it. But overall, I just absolutely love this game. I always wanted to do a review. The only reason I didn't was because if I had downloaded my gameplay of it, there's me in the lower right hand corner, and on reviews I don't like to see me in the reviews because I'm talking and there's me in the corner who's not talking. So maybe I'll reinstall it and play it for a couple hours, get some footage, and make a review sometime. So that's my plan with that one. The next game is the game I am playing currently, which is Ghost of Tsushima, as Phil likes to call it. But the true name is Ghost of Tsushima, the director's cut. And yeah, I'm playing it. I played through. I've reached where I can enter the DLC, and then I stopped because I was going to do that on Monday, but then there was the request that I do the show some of the online multiplayer. So on Monday, I ended up streaming the online multiplayer. Absolutely love it. Beautiful game. Graphics are great. In the original on the PS4, they had, the load times. I timed it out, and they were something like 15, 10, 15 seconds maybe for a load time. They weren't very long. They added a patch that updated it, and the load times were reduced down to like 4 or 5 seconds. And now on the PS5, it's, screen goes black, screen comes back, and you're across the map. So there are almost no load times. So that is amazing that they were able to pull that off. The haptic feedback is fantastic. I mean, you can really kind of feel like every time they click the sword, you can feel it. When you draw the bow, it you can feel the control. It's kind of worried me a couple times because they have the speaker on the controller. And it's really cool when you're doing a sword fight and you hear that cling and it comes out of the speaker, but the haptic feedback kind of jostles you at the same time. So it gives you a very, very kind of, not, I'm not going to say real, but it gives you a very good sensation that a rumble pack wouldn't do. Hey, cats, yeah. So that's absolutely fantastic. But yeah, there have been times where I'm pulling back the bow, and the bow kind of does this creaking sound. And that combined with the rumble pack, or with the haptic feedback, sometimes I feel like, oh no, something's broken inside the controller, but it's not. It's just this. It's just a combination of the haptic feedback and the sound coming out of it. But yeah, I'm absolutely loving it. It's great. They're adding Rivals mode, which is to Legends, which I think is kind of similar to Gambit in Destiny, where what you are is you basically have your team and their team, and you fight demons, and you want to defeat the demons faster than they do, and you can get currency for defeating things, and you can use those to kind of buy things to screw over the other team. So that should give multiplayer a little bit more longevity because it's going to vary it up a little bit more. But yeah, absolutely love this game, and I highly recommend it if anybody ever gets the chance. Phil might be sick of it, but Phil hasn't actually played it, so maybe if he gave it a shot, he might
Not
change
allowed.
his mind.
Can't get up.
He's not allowed, exactly. So that's a testament right there to just how great this game is. It is fantastic. I absolutely love it. And that's going to lead me into my future game, which is kind of in the same vein, Horizon Forbidden West. I am super looking forward to this game. I loved the first one. Absolutely great. I mean, this was the kind of thing where I had heard all the hype around The Witcher 3, and my whole time playing The Witcher 3, I just wanted to pull out Horizon Zero Dawn a second time. I will admit the story in Witcher 3 is better, and the fact that you can choose your own path. Horizon Zero Dawn was very linear in terms of story, but the combat and the gameplay in Horizon, in my opinion, was just leagues better. The bow play and everything like that. So I absolutely loved Horizon Zero Dawn. I've been super pumped about Horizon Forbidden West. It looks fantastic. And yeah, I'm just really looking forward to it. Really looking forward to seeing where they go with the story. We kind of left on a cliffhanger in the previous game. And yeah, so and I have a PS5 now, so I'm going to be able to capitalize on all these beautiful, beautiful graphics and everything and 60 frames per second. So super pumped. It was supposed to come out this holiday season. Unfortunately, it's been delayed. However, it's been delayed to February 18th, which coincidentally is my birthday. So happy birthday to me. I already know what gift I will be getting myself. So, all right. So, any comments here before we move into future things or news?
Well, this is totally the kind of games I would like to play, so I think it's not really Phil's cup of tea.
Quite possibly. I don't know. Phil, did you ever play the original Horizon Zero Dawn?
It's
Mm-mm.
fantastic. And I disagree with you. I love Witcher, but I am absolutely head of heels for the story of Horizon. Like, if you read all the catalogs and all the story about the old world, I just love it really, really well.
Oh no, I loved the story of
It's
Horizon Zero
the
Dawn. I was just
story,
saying that in Horizon Zero
everything.
Dawn, it's kind of linear. You don't have a lot of choices, whereas in Witcher, you could kind of, which I didn't feel the choices were that
And
significant anyway. But
I guess I'm not gonna put Forbidden West on PS4, which is
they
killing me
are.
because they are.
It's on
Are you
PS4.
sure?
Mm-hmm.
No, yeah, the original, but Forbidden
Forbidden
West as
West,
well.
they said it's supposed to be cross-gen. I think. Pretty
Oh,
sure.
I'd love, because I don't want to buy a PS5 just for that. But
Yep, PS4, PS5.
Yep.
oh,
It'll be cross-gen.
fantastic! Because I absolutely, the only thing I didn't like about Horizon was the DLC, which was in this, like Tibet kind of like massive snow, and it was released in Canada in the middle of winter. So when I saw, like Aloy like this in the snow, I'm like, yeah, I know what you're talking about. Just need to get out for that. I don't need to sit in a video game. That's the only problem I had with this. So that's why
Oh
I
no.
didn't enjoy that part as much.
Oh no, I
But
loved the
no,
DLC. Yeah, my only problem with Horizon was melee combat. I felt like the spear combat wasn't super great, but that's okay. You almost never use it.
yeah,
It's
it really depends on the weapon
99%
you
bow
have.
combat anyway. So
Yeah, exactly. And the end game weapons, the one which strips the armor,
oh, that was beautiful. Yes,
fantastic.
I
Yeah,
loved pulling the armor or the weapons off of like a Thunderjaw, and then you get to use it against it.
exactly. Question on the Iki Island.
Hmm.
I hear a lot about multiplayer, but I didn't get it yet. I did Ghost of Tsushima, and I really want to get the DLC, but I hear it's really multiplayer based. So, do you still have the solo game, or?
Iki Island is entirely solo. It's there's
Uh,
an update to Legends. Um, but Iki Island is a solo thing. The
so
updates to
I
Legends
will.
haven't even come out yet.
So at some point after Scarlet Nexus and Tales of Horizons, I will get it.
Yeah, I think they also
Hopefully before
have
Horizon.
multiplayer. You can for $20 US. I think they're selling the multiplayer individually. So if you
Yeah,
have no
no,
interest in the actual
I
game,
don't
but
do multiplayer. That's for
oh,
Phil.
okay. No, Iki Island is its own story. The multiplayer updates, I don't even think you need the director's cut for those. I think
I
those are
don't think
just free
so. I
updates.
think I can just I can just
Yeah.
download it on my base game.
Yeah, I think the
PS4.
multiplayer is just updates because the original Legends was free if you had the game as well. It was not.
Yes, well just an update, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, Iki Island single player. Yeah,
So much to look forward to.
yeah, yeah. I feel like Ghost of Tsushima and Horizon
Horizon.
Zero Dawn are opposite ends of the same coin. The two games feel so much alike, but I mean, I feel like Horizon Zero Dawn just did ranged combat amazingly well, whereas Ghost of Tsushima just does melee combat amazingly
Absolutely.
well. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I totally agree with you on that.
yeah.
Yeah.
So all right, well,
I searched for Horizon Forbidden West, and the first thing I noticed was there's a new God of War Ragnarok coming out next year, so that's exciting.
yes,
That was
yes,
the best thing about that game. It's told me that there's another God of War coming out. Super happy.
I never played God of War.
God of
What?
War.
Never
Really?
played.
I've
Yeah,
played the
I know
first
that, but never played.
two. I haven't played after that. So
I played the third one, and then the missus saw me playing it, and then she decided to play it, and then she played the. I've not played the new one yet, the Ragnarok. Ragnarok's the new one. What's the last one?
The last one was just God of War.
Just God of War. I think like 3 of them
It's
be
like a
called God of War.
reboot.
I think, or something.
The first one was God of War. I think the last one was just recently was just called God of War. So did she walk in at the right moment or the right moment?
Well, that's the thing. That's why she decided to play it, because she walked
that's
past and
why.
saw me. Yeah, she saw me doing the
Mini game.
the special time in God of War. Was it 2 or 3, whichever one, where you're pleasuring for services to complete the mission? And she was like, "Oh!" And then the next thing I know, she was playing it. So there we go.
There you go. Got to keep her, Phil.